welcome again to my YouTube channel. My name is Wumi Ajayi. It's good to be back. I've had a bit of a break, but it's good to be back. In my last video, I started a two-part series looking at marriage mindset. And that's because our mindset is very important because it affects all areas of our lives. Our mindset, our established set of attitudes concerning culture, our values, our philosophy, our frame of reference, the things that shape our outlook in life and our dispositions. Proverbs 23, verse 7 says, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." So this suggests to me that our thoughts, our beliefs, our mindset, they all work together to shape our character and our actions. They are the things that shape our behaviors. In part one, I looked extensively at the growth and fixed mindset. And in this video, I'm going to look at how we can, develop a healthy mindset and how we can have mindset shifts. But before I go into that, I think it's important to actually highlight some healthy mindsets that we should have in marriage and some unhealthy mindsets that we should be looking at changing or that we should be looking at shifting. So, looking at healthy marriage mindset, the first one I'll look at is the partnership mindset. And this is a mindset that view marriage as a collaborative journey that sees it as requiring effort, requiring negotiation, and a relationship where both partners support each other. This mindset promotes teamwork and adaptability. Another healthy mindset is a mindset that is others oriented. That's a mindset that is able to practice selflessness, that is able to put other people's interest, our spouse's interest, our spouse's needs above ourselves. A healthy mindset is a mindset that sees problems as opportunity for growth and intimacy rather than seeing them as something that will break the marriage. A healthy mindset is also a mindset that focuses on developing mature love that is not just stuck on feelings. If I don't feel it, then it doesn't exist. Because mature love is actually what we need to sustain marriage. And a healthy mindset sees mature love as something that requires effort to build. A healthy mindset focuses on self change, knowing that you can't change others, but you can change yourself. A healthy mindset prioritizes and protects the marriage at all costs. And a spouse that has a healthy mindset gives their all to the marriage. They do not hold back. Now, a few unhealthy marriage mindsets that we should not have or that we should look at shifting. The first one is a transactional mindset, someone that sees marriage as primarily in terms of roles and duties or exchanges. So it's all about this is what you do, this is what I do. And it's not about not having structure because it's important that we have structure in our marriages. But when our marriages are overtly transactional, the structures that we put in place can actually start to erode intimacy and connection. An unhealthy mindset is one that sees marriage as 50-50. Marriage is not about 50-50 because when you see marriage as 50-50, then we are likely to hold back. It will be about, well, I've done my bit, you do your bit. Marriage is 100-100. Both of us come into marriage giving it our all to make it work. Another unhealthy mindset is the soulmate mindset, and this may surprise many. It's a belief that one perfect person exists for everyone and that true love is preordained. While the idea of soulmate might sound romantic, when people say it, and there's nothing wrong in it, but it can become an unhealthy mindset in the sense that people that have this soulmate mindset, they can set unrealistic expectations and they can undermine commitment. They set unrealistic expectations for their spouses and then they undermine commitment. They feel, oh, there's no need to commit because if it's true love, it doesn't need effort. But in reality, every marriage needs effort. And when people have this soulmate mindset, they have a tendency to conclude that if the marriage is not working, it's because they haven't found their soulmate. Because to them, love should be effortless when you found your soulmate. Another one is a conflict avoidant mindset. People that have this mindset, they don't want to have difficult conversations or disagreements. They think, oh, that's how you maintain peace. But you can maintain peace in the short term, but at the end of the day, it can lead to unaddressed issues accumulating beneath the surface. Blame and fault finding mindset. That's another unhealthy mindset. People that have this mindset, they arrogate responsibility to their spouses if the marriage is not working. When there's a conflict, they are quick to make it about their spouse. They devoid themselves of responsibility. Always attempting to change our spouse is another wrong mindset. Some people believe that, oh, once you marry, I will mold, you want to mold your spouse into who you want them to be. You want to mold them into your idea of a perfect spouse. It is a very wrong mindset, and we shouldn't come into marriage with that. Offense keeper mindset. Some people, they just find it so difficult to let go. They struggle with forgiveness. They make their partner, so when you offend them, they feel that their partner has to pay for offending them. They are unable to let go, they're unable to forgive and let go. Self-preservation mindset, that's another one. People that, it's me first, then you. There are people that are often selfish with their choices and decisions. They make choices that benefit them without thinking about their spouses. They make decisions without consulting their spouses. And when we look at our cultural backgrounds as well, different cultural backgrounds have negative and unhealthy mindsets. Some of the unhealthy ones from the background that I come from is one that sometimes it sees the man as the boss and the woman as subservient. Some people think that the way to be a man is by paying for everything and being the one in command of the finances of the home. And so if a man is unable to work, or the man is earning less than the wife, then it becomes a problem. There's also the mindset to do with money. Different mindset. Your money is our money, my money is my money. People have different mindsets when it comes to bringing up children. People have different unhealthy mindsets, but the most important thing is that we identify this unhealthy mindset and we do something about them. And that's going to lead me nicely to how we can cultivate or develop a healthy marriage mindset. One of the beauty of the mind is its malleability, which tells us that we're not actually doomed. If you have a wrong or unhealthy mindset, we're not doomed to continue in that mindset. We're not doomed to repeat past patterns. We're not confined by inherited beliefs. Through self reflection, education, intentionality, our mindset can be softened, our mindset can be expanded, our mindset can be changed and transformed. And so, the first step in developing a healthy mindset is self awareness and reflection. It will be practically impossible to change an unhealthy mindset or to have a mindset shift without self awareness and reflection. We should be able to examine our own beliefs and expectations. We should be able to ask ourselves some questions. These expectations, where did they come from? These expectations that I'm putting on my spouse or that I'm even putting on myself, where did the expectations come from? The beliefs that I hold about marriage or how marriage should be, how where I should bring up my children, and in so many areas of life, where did they come from? And we should also be able to reflect and look at them and say, okay, all these beliefs and expectations, which one is serving my relationship? Which one is hindering my growth, my personal growth? Which one is hindering our personal growth? Which one is not serving our relationship? Because until we're able to, to become self-aware and to reflect and ask ourselves all these questions, it will be impossible to even identify when we have unhealthy mindset, talk less of changing them. The next thing is intentional communication. And with intentional communication, I mean things like, when we start asking feedback from our spouses, people that are close to us, our mentors, people, even our children, because the people that are close to us, they're the ones that are able to give us the constructive feedback that might help us to identify some of the unhealthy mindsets that we have. And I know this requires a level of vulnerability, but we should all be people that are willing to subject ourselves to constructive criticism if we're going to do better in our marriages. The next one is learning from others. If we want to develop a healthy mindset, we have to be people that are willing to learn. learn from the old, learn from the young, drawing inspiration from other couples. They could be our mentors, our friends, or even public figures, because this can offer valuable perspectives and strategies, that might be useful for us in our marriages. I know no two marriages are identical, so it's not about comparing our marriages with other people's marriages, but it's about observing how other people navigate challenges, how they live their lives, how they adapt over time. Because when we do that, when we have this attitude, wanting to learn from others, it will help us to spark new ideas. It will encourage growth in our own marriages as well. If you see something that you like in somebody else's marriage, it will encourage you to say, wow, I really want to be like that in my own marriage, or I want to start practicing this in my own marriage, because this is how we all make progress and how we grow in our marriages. The last one that I will talk about is embracing change. Change is the only thing that is constant in life, like they say. Our marriages are no exception. There will be a lot of changes that comes in our, career, body image, even in mind, in age, as we're getting older and all that. Embracing this reality with openness and flexibility allows us to grow, rather than separating us. Our marriages go through phases. And if we're not willing to adapt, if we want to be stuck in the honeymoon phase where everything is about touchy feely, and we're not ready to move on to, developing mature love, then we'll have a problem. We should also be ready to embrace change in our own lives too, not just the external circumstances of marriage, but things like, your personal evolution, how you're evolving, how your partner is evolving, how they're growing older and wiser. It's important that we're able to accept, embrace and accept all these changes in ourselves and in the external circumstances and in our spouses as they come. All this will help us to develop a healthy mindset in our marriages. Now, I want to talk about mindset shift, because it's actually different from developing a healthy mindset. A mindset shift is a change in how we perceive things and how we approach things. It involves a transformation in our belief, in our attitudes, and in our behaviors. In mindset shift, we actually recognize and we challenge limiting beliefs, and we are willing to adopt a more positive and growth oriented outlook. We are moving away from thoughts that are limiting us. We're moving away from beliefs, mindsets that are limiting us, and we're moving on to more positive ones that will encourage our personal growth and growth in our marriage. So I'm just going to look at, specific mindset shifts that needs to happen in marriage. And the first one, which I think is very important, is a shift from a mindset shift from I to we. When we're single, it's I, but once we are married, it is we. We're a team, we're working together. It's a mindset that stops focusing solely on individuals' needs and desires. It starts to focus on us. It's recognizing that in marriage, we are an entity. We are working together. It involves prioritizing our relationships' well being and working together with our spouses to nurture our marriage. The next one is shifting perspective on our partner's behavior. So instead of labeling their behavior as bad or malicious, or labeling them as, oh, she's a bad wife, he's a bad husband, we need to consider that their behavior might actually stem from past traumas, learned behaviors, difficulty in communication sometimes. And when we're able to make this shift, it allows us to be more empathic. It allows us to show more understanding, and it reduces the tendency to personalize conflict. When we recognize that people's behavior often comes from a place of pain or struggle, something that they're actually struggling with, we will approach our issues with more compassion, and we'll be able to work towards healing together. We'll be able to support each other to heal, and we'll be able to support each other to have a better relationship in our marriage. A shift from a fixed to a growth mindset. This I cannot even overemphasize. People that have a fixed mindset, they're not willing to put effort into learning and adapting. So a shift from a fixed to a growth mindset will involve a willingness to embrace change, willingness to put effort into learning and adapting, willingness to embrace different beliefs, different ways of doing marriage rather than resisting it. This shift involves being open to adjusting our thinking, It means being open to taking advice. It means being open to actively working and improving on our relationship. Another one is a shift from feelings to focusing on connection and nurturing. I spoke earlier on about mature love. Mature love is not based on feeling. It's important that we're able to shift our mindset from always wanting to feel to actually focusing on connection and nurturing our relationship. When there's distance and disconnection in a relationship, it often arises from a lack of nurturing connection within the relationship. Often people think, oh, it's about flaws. It's about, yeah, we all have flaws, and those flaws, some of them will never go away. But when we focus on nurturing and connecting, nurturing our relationship, connecting with our spouses, we will find out that our connection, our bond will become stronger. And some of the ways that we can focus on nurturing and connection is by, things like regular check-ins with our spouses, checking how they're doing, checking how the relationship is doing, expressing gratitude and nurturing the friendship aspect of our relationship. Blaming to responsibility is another mindset shift that we need to have in marriage. And this involves taking ownership, especially during conflict, taking ownership of the part that we've played, how we've contributed to the argument, how we've contributed to the conflict, and practicing self-soothing as well. Being able to manage our own emotions and preventing escalation during disagreements. In this mindset shift, individuals are also open to negotiation and compromise because these are the things that are essential if we're going to resolve conflict effectively. When we're able to embrace all these mindset shifts, we'll be able to cultivate a more positive, connected, and fulfilling relationships. We'll be able to foster growth and will be more resilient in the face of challenges. And implementing this mindset shift will involve, developing new habits and behaviors, implementing changes in our routine and actions that aligns with the new mindset that we've adopted. I just want to conclude by saying that marriage mindsets are the unseen architecture of our marriage relationships. They are a dynamic interplay of our beliefs, attitudes, and intentions that shape the very experience of our marriage partnership. And irrespective of what their sources might be, whether their beliefs, their mindset that we've inherited, mindset that we've chosen, or mindset that we've forged through experiences of life, it's important to remember that those mindsets, they have the power to make or break our marriages. And that's why it's important that we identify when we have any unhealthy mindset and that we be intentional in cultivating healthy mindsets and in adopting mindset shift so that we can shift away from mindsets that are not serving our marriages to mindset that can actually help us to build a lasting marriage, because the most enduring marriages are not marriages that are free of challenges, but marriages where the two people involved are willing to learn, to adapt, and to love with intention. And for those willing to nurture a healthy marriage mindset, the rewards are not only a lasting marriage, but the discovery of deeper connection, deeper joy, and mutual fulfillment as we journey together in life. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, like I always say, marriage is to be enjoyed, not to be endured. God bless you and see you in my next video.